Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another book review. This is going to be for The Crimson Fire by Abel Montero. This is epic fantasy, high fantasy, dark, maybe even grimdark. I'm not entirely sure how it would be classified. Very political in a lot of ways, and as in terms of in-world politics. It's got a mystery element to it. It got a bit of coming of age to it, so it's just a lot of the generic fantasy subgenres that go along with it, or keywords. So yeah, The Crimson Fire is book one of the Memories of Kenjir, I think. I'm not entirely sure that that's how it would be pronounced, but The Memories of Kenjir by Abel Montero. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm trying. This book begins what will clearly be an epic series full of betrayal, intrigue, and magic. It's a world where the gods are present and ruling in the world, and noble houses are vying for power and influence. Complex, with many different threads weaving together, but clear in its execution. And that's something that I'm very impressed with, was how clear it was what was going on from the beginning to the end, even when you were a little bit lost in the complexity of it. The actual through line of the story was very clear and very easy to follow. I was sent an e-arc in exchange for an honest review, though I didn't actually finish it until after the book officially released. So the book is out and available to read and purchase if you want to do that. That does not, however, affect my review of this book at all. Before I get on into this review, though, I'd just quickly like to say welcome to An Erudite Adventure. I'm T. If you're liking what you're seeing from us, please like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, so I was very surprised by this book. I had no idea if I was going to like it or not. That's very common with me. I go into books basically blind without knowing much about them. I try and vet them a little bit to make sure that they're not going to be something that's full of adult content that I don't want to read about. But other than that, I really don't care too much to know what the story is about. I want to go in as blind as I can and just experience the story for what it is. And so I had no idea if I would like it or not, but of course I was hoping that it would be excellent. But I wasn't sure, especially since I hadn't read much about it or heard much about it. I mostly just wanted to support the author, as he is a member of the BookTube community, and it turns out I needn't have feared, because it was excellent. And so let's go through here and see what my thoughts are on this a little bit. It seems a bit slow. The book starts out and it feels a little bit slow as you're going through those first chapters, more than really as you're going through up until you reach the finale. It seems like things are moving really slowly. And I'll definitely admit that part of that is due to my reading just a handful of pages per day on my lunch break, because I only have a limited amount of time on my lunch break to read, and I read very slowly on ebook as it is. And so I didn't make a ton of progress very quickly on this book, but so that is absolutely part of why it felt so slow to me. More than that is the fact that you're not really realizing how much things have changed and advanced until you reach the end of the book. And that apparent slowness becomes a deliberate and indomitable progress that suits the world, suits the story and the themes in a manner that I'm not sure that I've seen before. I am not sure that I have seen a pacing of the story that ties so heavily into the world and into the themes and the story being told, which is very interesting to me that Montero was able to do this. And I really appreciate it. I found it fascinating as I was reading the story and reading that finale and seeing how all of that fit together specifically with the pacing even as well. There's a ton that happens, but it's hard to actually grasp how much until you were able to look back on it and see both where we started and why the story has been told the way that it has, because there's so much going on. There's so many different threads being played with and woven into this story, and it's just hard to understand really fully how much is going on until you reach the end, until you see some of those threads come to fruition at the finale of the story. Montero has an excellent grasp of description and immersion that is not for the sake of adjectival detail or beauty of the word craft itself, but rather as an enrichment for the story itself. A story which drew me in from the first chapter right until the end. The characters I was rooting for changed often and without my realizing it. I was surprised and pleased by the way that the author could write engaging characters and have us questioning why we once rooted for different characters as we learn more and more about the world. There's characters that we meet right at the beginning that as you go through the story, you're like, oh, I should not have enjoyed that first chapter. That was not okay, type thing. And yeah, it's fascinating the way that he's able to change your opinions as you go through the story. All of it culminating in an explosive ending, both exactly as we expected it to, as well as being rather subversive. We are given something that is exactly what we need, and not at all what we were expecting, both at the same time. Exactly what we were expecting and not at all what we were expecting. We do not know what exactly is going on, but it's obvious that as it unfolds, it is the correct ending for this novel. There's pieces of this story that we don't know, we don't understand, we don't fully grasp until we see that ending and we realize, oh, all these things are coming together in this way. I thought it was supposed to be like that, but it's actually like this, and that makes so much more sense and it fits the story way better. And so yeah, I just very impressed with that as well. This is objectively one of the best written books that I've read in a while, and constantly surprising me with how much I was enjoying it, and the fact that although it is adult fantasy, Montero keeps it clean, and just adds to my enjoyment of the book so much more. It's definitely a book I would recommend to many readers, especially many fantasy readers who like epic fantasy, who like high fantasy, adult fantasy. It's just a very good book, very good story. There's some dark things that happen, but it's clean for the most part. I don't think there was any adult content. If there was, it was mostly like fade to black, and in terms of language, it was basically, I don't remember there being much at all, if any. So yeah, I was very, very pleased with all of that, and just the story as a whole. I want to have the physical book. I want to re-listen to the audiobook at some point, because I read this on ebook, and I think an audiobook experience would, obviously it would change my experience of it, but I would enjoy that so much. I would also love to have this book on my shelf because it's just a beautiful book and I really, really enjoyed it. It's hard to say, but it's one of my favorite books that I read in July. It's not my favorite book. There's two other books that I read in July, and as you'll see in my July wrap up, that I enjoyed more than The Crimson Fire. But Crimson Fire is one of my favorite books of the month, and one I appreciate it so much, and so much the more because it was clean. So yeah, that is my thoughts on The Crimson Fire by Abel Montero. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.